Bootle. Alice was here for firewood and for years she had experienced otherness, strange moments that were sometimes frightening and always strange. "You're different, child," Mother insisted. "You will see and know what others can't, because you are a 7, and so am I." A 7. Alice wished she could have been a 1 or a 6 or an 8 or anything bloody ordinary. Even bottle-bottomed glasses would have been preferable to second sight. The back wall of the shop was covered by creeping sepia smoke that only she could see. No, once again, she was all but certain that Frank could see it too. It became a huge face with a wide-open mouth that seemed to frame a silent scream. So far there was nothing new. She'd seen it all before. Alice opened the weighty door as far as it would go and stepped inside. There was no choice. She always had to face whatever turned up. Running would make no difference, because things always caught up with her, damn them. "All I want is to be normal, Frank," she said behind gritted teeth. The large white dog hung back, his behind planted firmly on the outer doorstep. "Get in," ordered the owner of the nervous boxer. "Do as you're told." He scratched an ear. It was one of the habits he employed when wishing to distract himself and others. "In, Frank," Alice repeated. He abandoned his protest and followed her, parking his backside firmly between paraffin heaters and fire-lighters. It was going to be one of those days, and he wasn't best pleased, because moving house was enough to take on without visions and all that palaver. He scratched the other ear. He hadn't even been fed yet. "Unusual dog," the shopkeeper announced. "One like that I never see before in my life. Sad face, but so beautiful." The newly arrived customer managed a tight smile. The ironmonger lady was by far the most unusual item in the small shop. "You're not English?" At least Frank was inside now, though he looked about as happy as a wet and windy weekend in Blackpool. He was doing that blowing out of his cheeks thing again. "No," the woman replied after a pause. "I am Russian, from a village over to the west of Moscow, but in England now many years." She stared hard at the customer. "Sitting down, please. Your face is being pale." Alice sank onto a hard kitchen chair. "Alicia Marguerite Quigley," she said, "but they call me Alice." The shop darkened. Even the street outside looked black, as if Penny Lane had acquired its very own dense cloud. "Olga Konstantinov. In Russia I am Konstantinova, but here I find women take father's name unchanged, so I do same. Shop is called Connie's Corner. Bad English, I know, but my father wanted a name to remember." She shrugged apologetically. Smiling became impossible for Alice, and the shopkeeper's voice faded away as her customer shifted into another dimension. The small, seated visionary accepted the inevitable, since there was little she could do to alter her environment. Frank settled, thought better of it, and moved to stretch out across Alice's feet. He would guard her. His job was to care for the woman who fed and loved him. A door in the corner disappeared, as did all the display shelving. There was a cart. Muffled hooves seemed to beat the earth until the cart stumbled and spilled its contents onto the ground. Bodies. Adults and children tumbled down when a wheel parted company with the rest of the vehicle. The corpses fell in impossible shapes that imitated broken marionettes. It was like a silent film that kept sticking on the reel. Jumpy, too fast, too slow. Alice stared into violence and chaos, and she shivered in spite of the warm weather. She was looking at the result.